The basketball world is buzzing after a wave of online discussion linked Michael Jordan's legendary brand, Nike's growing influence in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark's massive impact on the sport, and Sophie Cunningham's rising profile into one explosive conversation. Fans are asking whether the WNBA has entered a completely new era, while social media is flooded with theories about what this could mean for endorsements, player visibility, and the future of the league. Nothing has been officially confirmed beyond public announcements and reporting, but the speculation alone has ignited one of the biggest basketball debates of the year. What makes this story even more fascinating is that it isn't just about one player. Supporters believe Clark's unprecedented popularity has created new opportunities across the league, while others argue that brands like Nike are simply responding to growing fan interest in women's basketball as a whole. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham's fearless personality, competitive style, and expanding fan base have placed her directly in the spotlight, leading many people to wonder whether an even bigger opportunity could be developing behind the scenes. Now, the biggest question is no longer whether the WNBA is growing. It clearly is. The real mystery is how that growth will reshape careers, endorsements, and the league's future. Did Michael Jordan's lasting influence, Nike's strategic direction, and Caitlin Clark's cultural impact create the perfect moment for Sophie Cunningham to reach another level, or is social media getting ahead of the facts? As more fans join the conversation and new headlines continue appearing, this story may be far bigger than anyone first imagined, and the next twist could change everything. The story didn't begin with one headline or one viral post. It began months earlier, when the WNBA experienced an unprecedented surge in attention. Television ratings climbed, arenas welcomed larger crowds, and millions of new fans started following the league. Much of that momentum coincided with Caitlin Clark's arrival, as her transition from college basketball attracted viewers who had never regularly watched the WNBA before. Suddenly, every game, interview, endorsement, and social media post became national news, creating opportunities and pressures unlike anything the league had experienced in years. Clark's influence quickly extended beyond the basketball court. Major brands, sports networks, and advertisers recognized that her games consistently generated extraordinary engagement. Fans debated whether her popularity was transforming the economics of women's basketball or simply accelerating growth that had already been building. Whatever the explanation, her presence made the entire league more visible. Many observers believe that increased exposure could benefit dozens of players, not just Clark herself, by attracting new sponsors, expanding television audiences, and encouraging greater investment across the sport. Sophie Cunningham had spent years earning respect through relentless effort rather than overwhelming media attention. Coaches praised her competitive mentality, teammates appreciated her willingness to stand up during difficult moments, and fans admired her fearless approach to physical basketball. Although she wasn't always the center of national headlines, her intensity frequently turned ordinary games into memorable moments. That authenticity helped her build a loyal following long before the recent explosion in WNBA popularity placed many more eyes on every performance. Meanwhile, Nike remained one of the most influential forces in global basketball. Decades after Michael Jordan transformed sports marketing, the company's relationship with elite athletes continued shaping conversations about the future of the game. Every endorsement announcement or signature partnership prompted widespread discussion, with fans constantly speculating about which players might become the next major faces of basketball culture. While those conversations often included exciting predictions, many remained exactly that, predictions rather than confirmed business decisions. Michael Jordan's legacy naturally became part of those discussions. Although he has not publicly commented on many of the online theories surrounding current WNBA storylines, fans frequently connect his influence to any conversation involving Nike and basketball branding. His success with the Jordan brand permanently changed how athletes are marketed, leading many supporters to compare every emerging basketball star with the commercial blueprint he helped establish. Those comparisons reflect his lasting influence rather than evidence of direct involvement in every modern endorsement discussion. As the league's popularity continued rising, fans noticed that players with strong personalities and authentic public images were attracting increasing attention. Sophie Cunningham fit that description perfectly. Her emotional style, confidence, and willingness to embrace pressure made her a frequent topic on sports talk shows and social media. Some commentators suggested that these qualities made her especially attractive to brands seeking athletes who could connect with passionate basketball audiences, though no major shift should be assumed without official confirmation. Social media amplified every possibility. A single interview clip, photo, or public appearance could spark thousands of posts within minutes, with fans trying to piece together clues about future partnerships or marketing campaigns. Some content creators argued that Clark's arrival had opened doors for players throughout the league. Others believed brands were simply responding to growing consumer demand for women's basketball. Regardless of which theory gained momentum, the excitement itself demonstrated how dramatically public interest had evolved. Inside the league, many players welcomed the increased visibility while acknowledging the additional pressure that accompanied it. Every game now attracted greater scrutiny, every statement received broader coverage, and every endorsement carried more significance than before. The WNBA had clearly entered a new chapter, one where athletic performance and commercial opportunities increasingly intersected. That environment created both optimism and uncertainty, especially for players positioned to benefit from expanding public attention. Then the online conversation took another unexpected turn. Fans began linking Michael Jordan's enduring influence, Nike's role in shaping basketball culture, Caitlin Clark's extraordinary popularity, and Sophie Cunningham's growing profile into one dramatic narrative. None of the more sensational online claims had been officially confirmed, yet the speculation spread at remarkable speed. Suddenly, millions of basketball fans believed they were witnessing the beginning of something much bigger, setting the stage for a conflict that would dominate headlines and ignite fierce debate across the sports world. The real explosion didn't happen on the court, it happened online. Within hours, basketball fans began connecting a series of separate events into one massive storyline. Public discussions about Nike's growing investment in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark's unmatched ability to attract attention, and Sophie Cunningham's rising popularity suddenly merged into one viral narrative. Some fans believed the timing couldn't be a coincidence, while others argued that people were reading far too much into unrelated developments. At that point, no official announcement supported the biggest online theories, but the conversation was already dominating basketball media. Sports shows quickly joined the debate. Commentators discussed how Clark's arrival had dramatically increased national interest in the WNBA, bringing new audiences, advertisers, and sponsorship opportunities. Many analysts argued that when a league grows this rapidly, more players naturally benefit from greater exposure. Others questioned whether certain personalities were becoming especially valuable because of the increased attention. These discussions centered on broad business trends rather than secret agreements, but they fueled even more speculation across social media. Sophie Cunningham unexpectedly became one of the biggest names in those conversations. Her passionate playing style, outspoken personality, and growing fan support led many observers to wonder whether she represented the type of athlete brands increasingly wanted to highlight. Some content creators speculated that the league's changing landscape could create new endorsement possibilities for players with strong public identities. Those ideas reflected public opinion and online discussion, not confirmed business arrangements, but they spread rapidly because fans were eager to predict what might happen next. Then came the first major twist. Instead of focusing only on Clark or Cunningham, the conversation shifted towards something much larger: the commercial transformation of the WNBA itself. Analysts pointed to increasing television audiences, stronger attendance in many markets, and expanding corporate interest as evidence that women's basketball had entered a new era. Supporters argued that this rising tide could lift many players, not just the league's biggest stars. Critics, however, questioned how opportunities would ultimately be distributed. That debate divided fans into competing camps. Some believed Clark's popularity had accelerated growth that would benefit the entire league, creating more endorsement opportunities for teammates and opponents alike. Others argued that established stars had spent years building the WNBA and deserved equal recognition as commercial interest expanded. Neither side disputed the league's rising visibility, but they strongly disagreed about how that success should be interpreted and who stood to benefit the most. The emotional intensity continued growing because every new interview, appearance, or marketing campaign was now viewed through the lens of that larger debate. Ordinary business decisions suddenly became headline material. Social media users searched for hidden meaning in routine public appearances, while sports personalities reminded viewers that many viral theories remained speculative. The contrast between careful reporting and fast-moving online discussion became increasingly apparent, with rumors often spreading faster than verified information. As more commentators weighed in, many emphasized that Michael Jordan's influence on basketball branding remains undeniable, even when he is not personally involved in current endorsement decisions. His partnership with Nike fundamentally changed athlete marketing, making his legacy a natural reference point whenever new stars emerge. Fans frequently invoked his name while discussing the future of women's basketball, but those comparisons reflected his historical impact rather than confirmation of behind-the-scenes involvement in current events. Meanwhile, the WNBA itself remained focused on basketball. Teams continued preparing for upcoming games, players concentrated on competition, and league officials highlighted the sport's continued momentum. Yet outside the arenas, the public conversation had taken on a life of its own. Every social media trend, podcast episode, and television segment added another layer to the story, making it increasingly difficult to separate confirmed developments from enthusiastic speculation. The first shocking twist, then, was not the announcement many fans expected. It was the realization that the biggest change had already occurred. The WNBA had become important enough that business discussions, endorsement rumors, and branding strategies were receiving the same level of attention once reserved almost exclusively for on-court action. Whether or not the online theories proved accurate, one fact was undeniable: the league's cultural influence had expanded dramatically. With expectations reaching new heights and fans watching every move made by players, brands, and league figures, the stage was set for an even bigger development. The next wave of headlines wouldn't simply ask whether women's basketball was growing. They would ask who would shape its future, who would benefit from its momentum, and whether the next announcement would confirm any of the theories that had captivated millions. The story was far from over, and the biggest surprise might still be waiting just around the corner. The reaction was immediate, and it spread far beyond Indiana or the WNBA. Within hours, sports shows, podcasts, and social media feeds were flooded with debates over what Michael Jordan's reported support, Nike's growing attention, and Caitlin Clark's influence could mean for Sophie Cunningham's future. Fans split into competing camps almost instantly. Some believe the entire situation represented a major turning point for women's basketball marketing, while others argued people were reading far too much into speculation. Regardless of which side anyone chose, one fact became impossible to ignore: the conversation was dominating headlines. Sports commentators quickly noticed that Cunningham's public profile had changed almost overnight. She was no longer being discussed only as a tough competitor willing to protect teammates. Instead, analysts started talking about her marketability, leadership qualities, and growing popularity among fans who appreciated her fearless style. Some media personalities suggested that moments like these often reshape an athlete's reputation more than statistics ever could. Others cautioned that viral attention fades quickly unless it's backed by consistent performance. The debate only fueled even more discussion across every major platform. Inside fan communities, emotions reached another level entirely. Supporters of Caitlin Clark praised Cunningham for standing by one of the league's biggest stars during an increasingly physical season. Others insisted every player should simply focus on basketball rather than media narratives. Arguments broke out under nearly every highlight clip, with thousands of comments analyzing body language, interviews, and even post-game interactions. Nothing was officially confirmed, but fans continued building elaborate theories about sponsorship opportunities, locker room dynamics, and future league decisions based on tiny details. League executives suddenly found themselves answering broader questions about the WNBA's rapid growth. Reporters repeatedly asked whether rising television ratings, expanding sponsorships, and unprecedented attention around stars like Clark were permanently changing how brands evaluated players across the league. Officials generally avoided commenting on speculation involving Nike or Michael Jordan, instead emphasizing the league's overall momentum. Still, many observers noticed how carefully every public statement was worded, leading some fans to believe there were larger business conversations happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Cunningham continued preparing for games while facing an entirely different level of public attention. Every interview, every warm-up clip, and every interaction with teammates became material for online analysis. Some supporters admired how calmly she handled the spotlight despite constant questions. Critics argued the attention itself had become distracting. Yet through it all, she largely stayed focused on basketball, refusing to publicly embrace or dismiss many of the rumors swirling around her growing visibility. That silence only encouraged even more speculation. Caitlin Clark also remained at the center of countless conversations, even when she wasn't directly addressing them. Fans repeatedly connected her name to every headline involving league popularity, television ratings, sponsorship discussions, and player recognition. Some believe Clark's presence had opened doors for teammates and competitors alike by attracting unprecedented audiences. Others argued it unfairly overshadowed many established stars who had helped build the league for years. The disagreement reflected broader conversations about growth, recognition, and how rapidly professional women's basketball was evolving. Media personalities added even more fuel by debating what Michael Jordan's legacy represented in this context. If one of basketball's most iconic figures truly viewed Cunningham as someone worth supporting, many argued it would symbolize recognition extending beyond simple statistics. Others reminded viewers that no official endorsement announcements had confirmed the widespread rumors circulating online. Nevertheless, discussion continued because fans often view even indirect connections to legendary figures as meaningful. Every television segment seemed to generate another wave of online reactions. As excitement intensified, longtime WNBA veterans offered more measured perspectives. Several former players emphasized that careers are built over years rather than viral moments. They praised Cunningham's competitiveness while reminding audiences that consistency ultimately matters more than headlines. Those comments resonated with many fans who appreciated the reminder that professional sports remain unpredictable. Still, the emotional energy surrounding the story refused to disappear because every new game presented another opportunity for fresh narratives to emerge and reshape public perception. By the end of the week, one conclusion seemed clear even if many details remained uncertain. Whether the rumors surrounding Jordan, Nike, and Cunningham ultimately proved significant or not, the story had highlighted just how dramatically public interest in the WNBA had expanded. Fans were analyzing business relationships, branding opportunities, and player personalities with an intensity rarely seen just a few years earlier. But just when many believed the controversy had finally reached its peak, another unexpected development began quietly attracting attention, and it threatened to change the entire narrative once again. Just when the conversation seemed ready to settle, another wave of speculation completely changed the mood. Fans began pointing to subtle developments that they believed hinted the story was far from over. A few social media posts, several public appearances, and renewed discussion about Sophie Cunningham's rising popularity were suddenly woven together into fresh theories. None of it confirmed a major announcement, but online communities exploded with predictions that something bigger could be happening behind the scenes. The uncertainty itself became the biggest headline. The timing fueled even more curiosity. As new games approached, cameras followed Cunningham more closely than ever before. Every pre-game entrance, every interaction with teammates, and every interview answer was dissected frame by frame. Supporters believed she appeared more confident than ever, while skeptics argued fans were reading far too much into ordinary moments. The lack of official confirmation only encouraged endless debate, creating an atmosphere where almost every detail became part of an increasingly dramatic narrative. At the same time, Caitlin Clark remained one of the central figures in nearly every discussion about the league's future. Commentators continued debating how her popularity had transformed television ratings, sponsorship interest, and media coverage. Some believed Clark's impact was creating opportunities for teammates and rivals alike by bringing unprecedented attention to the WNBA. Others warned against giving too much credit to a single player, arguing that years of work by countless athletes had laid the foundation for the league's current growth. Meanwhile, rumors involving Nike and Michael Jordan refused to disappear. Fans circulated screenshots, podcast clips, and speculative posts claiming that larger branding conversations could already be taking place. None of those claims were officially verified, and no formal announcements supported many of the online theories. Even so, the possibility alone kept excitement alive. People debated whether Cunningham's fearless reputation, combined with her growing visibility, made her an attractive figure for future partnerships, regardless of what ultimately happened. Former players and analysts tried to calm expectations by reminding audiences that viral stories often grow much faster than confirmed information. They emphasized that successful athletes cannot control every rumor attached to their names. Still, many admitted the level of attention surrounding Cunningham represented something unusual. Her on-court toughness had evolved into a broader public identity that resonated with many basketball fans. Whether deserved or exaggerated, that shift alone illustrated how quickly perception can change in today's sports landscape. Inside basketball circles, another question quietly emerged. If the WNBA continued attracting larger audiences, would brands begin investing in a wider range of personalities instead of focusing primarily on the league's biggest superstars? Some observers believe Cunningham's growing popularity could represent exactly that kind of shift. Others argued consistency, playoff success, and long-term performance would ultimately determine future opportunities. The debate highlighted a league entering an entirely new commercial era where visibility itself had become incredibly valuable. Social media only intensified the suspense. New hashtags appeared almost daily, while fan-made graphics imagined future endorsement campaigns and potential collaborations. Content creators produced countless videos connecting unrelated moments into elaborate theories about upcoming announcements. Although many of those ideas remained speculative, they attracted millions of views because audiences were eager to believe something historic might be unfolding. The story had evolved beyond basketball, becoming a larger conversation about influence, branding, and the changing business of women's sports. Even league officials faced growing pressure to respond to constant questions about the WNBA's expanding popularity. Public comments remained focused on celebrating competitive basketball and long-term growth rather than addressing individual rumors. That careful approach left plenty of unanswered questions, allowing speculation to continue unchecked. Fans interpreted the silence in completely different ways. Some viewed it as standard professionalism, while others believed important conversations were intentionally being kept private until the right moment. As anticipation reached its highest point, one reality became impossible to ignore. Whether every rumor proved accurate or not, the combination of Caitlin Clark's enormous influence, Sophie Cunningham's rapidly rising profile, and ongoing discussions involving Nike and Michael Jordan had already changed public perception. Millions of people who rarely followed the WNBA were suddenly paying attention, debating every headline and waiting for whatever might happen next. And with another major stretch of the season still ahead, many believe the biggest surprise may not have happened yet. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: it has sparked one of the biggest conversations surrounding the WNBA this season. While many claims circulating online remain unconfirmed, the debates about Caitlin Clark's influence, Sophie Cunningham's rising profile, and the possibility of major brand interest have captured the attention of basketball fans everywhere. The league continues to grow at an incredible pace, and every new headline seems to create another wave of discussion that keeps fans coming back for more. Whether you believe Michael Jordan and Nike are preparing something significant or think social media has simply amplified ordinary events into a much bigger story, the conversation is far from over. Every game, interview, and public appearance adds another piece to the puzzle, while fans continue sharing theories and debating what might happen next. Until official announcements are made, much of the speculation remains exactly that, speculation. But the excitement surrounding the league has never been greater. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Sophie Cunningham's growing popularity is opening the door to even bigger opportunities? Has Caitlin Clark permanently changed the business side of the WNBA? And if major brands continue investing in more players across the league, who do you think will be next? Share your thoughts in the comments because your opinion could be featured in a future video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest WNBA news, debates, and developing stories. We cover the biggest headlines, viral moments, and emerging conversations as they happen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.